information station and our morning show. It's brought to you by People's Bank and Trust, where they put people first, and Landmark of Taylorville. I'm your host, Grayson Bauman, and joining us in this segment, we've got Christian County YMCA Executive Director Bruce Blanchin. Bruce, good morning to you, sir. How are you?
Hey, I'm good, Grayson. How are you?
I am doing well on this end. Glad to have you here in studio today. And we kind of want to start with what took place in 2025. It was a huge year for the Christian County YMCA. I just want to know, through your lens, through your scope, what can you kind of tell our listeners?
We had a really big year. We, first and foremost, we kind of wrapped up our fundraising for our capital campaign. So we attained our goal of raising $1,465,000. Like many construction projects, unfortunately, we spent a little more than that, but we had to fix some things that kind of came up throughout the process, like 12 leaks underneath your pool deck. But we were able to do so many wonderful things in 2024 and 2025 and wrap up 25. We had a lot of wonderful programs that went on. Our auction was fantastic that we held in November. I believe it was the 7th at the Pillars. And, our goal is always to try to net as much as possible, and between the live and the silent auction revenues, and then your sponsorship revenues, and the meal revenues, hopefully our goal was, we always want to try to raise as much as possible, but we netted right around 52,000, which is really good number for the Y. It's a great number, and we're fortunate because our fund to need, we didn't quite meet our goal, but we did receive a grant, $15,000 grant for our child care program. So, with the little over 17,000 we did raise in our fund to need, and with that grant, we will be able to do everything we wanted to do in our nursery and child care areas this year. So we're really excited about that. I mean, honestly, our membership numbers are really well. I just looked this morning, and January is always a big month for the Y. Everybody has a New Year's resolution. Everyone wants to get in shape. Many people want to lose weight, like myself, but our numbers were good. We had 3,523 total members and 1,458 membership units. So, that's great for us. Those are great numbers for us. And our goal is to try to serve more people and just, kind of walk the walk and talk the talk. We want to serve more kids in our child care programs. We have a wonderful before and after school child care program. We have a nursery program that's there for families who, if they're a member, they get to come in, they get to utilize the nursery with their little, their newborn up to toddler up to 6 years of age. And so they get to drop their child off, go work out. I think right now we have right around 35 to 38 kids in our before and after school child care program. With the holidays the way they were this year, our schools out program wasn't that big. We were just talking about it, Grayson. Like your holiday was in the middle of the week, your Eve was in the middle of the week, and so many people had a lot of time off, and so we averaged only about 10 kids a day. But now today we had a few more kids, and kind of like our last day of school's out, we're going to take the kids bowling to the old bowl this afternoon. So we're always, like our goal is always try to keep the kids active, keep them busy, do as much as we can with them. But we also try to take them out in the community and do some things out there. As we know, many kids like to bowl. They like to go to movies. They like to do things in the community. When the weather's nice, we do try to get out and go to the parks and do things like that.
Yeah, well, the weather's not been as good, but keeping them inside, a little bowling, movie action, things like that. But 2025, just in talking to you in the last year, I mean, it was really cool to see. Every time it felt like another 100,000 maybe was coming in for the capital campaign fund. And, we're making great progress on the pool. Oh, wait a minute. We do have some leaks under there, but hold on, give us a little while. We'll get it figured out. It just felt like everything that came your way, if it didn't go right, it was figured out and it was solved and quickly. And it seemed like everything other than that went really, really well for you. When you talk that auction dinner, $52,000, if I remember right, a lot of that is not only to support your efforts and your mission, but also kind of help with the scholarships and things like that. Is that correct?
Yeah, we we say the auction is an extension of our scholarship program. It also helps the YMCA. It's kind of like that end of the year fundraiser to help offset some of our operational expenses. And then really for many years, I don't know if it was always that way where we had a fund a need project, but I think at some point throughout that process in our 37 years of hosting the auction, we kind of said, hey, like we need to fix an area in our building. And so we would kind of decide on what we needed to do and kind of go from there. So last year we replaced the playground equipment and made a lot of renovations to our 24-hour entry and things like that. And then now this year, hopefully, you'll see new flooring in the nursery. We've been painting the walls, ceiling tile. We've been working on replacing ceiling tile, painting the grids, and just we haven't got a whole lot of new toys yet, but we're working on that, and hopefully it'll look brand new.
Well, it sure sounds like it should, and will here coming up. But yeah, just it seemed like 2025 was an awesome year with you at the helm, and I'm just wondering, just to kind of sum it all up, almost, how do you feel about what was accomplished in the last year and a half?
Feel really proud. We've got a great staff, and I know many times we feel like we're short staffed or understaffed. I know if you ask Tanner, many days he spent time out in the pool sitting in main chair because we didn't have a guard throughout the daytime, and we wanted to try to keep the pool open as often as possible. And we kind of made the tough decision here just about a month ago or so that on Tuesdays and Thursdays from noon to 3, we're going to close the pool. And we kind of checked with a lot of other YMCAs like our size, and many of them do the same thing. So lifeguard shortage has kind of been an issue for the last 10 years or so in recreation. And I think especially since COVID. So we're trying to address that issue right now, trying to get more students, maybe try to work with the school, maybe go through co-op or go through a program like that, try to get more students kids who are younger, who want to get certified, who want to be a lifeguard, trying to work with organizations like the Tidwell Park District to maybe, when their guards aren't in season, that maybe they'll come work for us. And maybe when summer rolls around, they're going to go right back and work for them. So they kind of have a year-round part-time position. And so we're doing everything we can to try to, boost our efforts there. We got a little work to do, but we're getting there. But all in all, I think 25 was a fantastic year for the Y.
Well, it seems like it from this end of things, and I'm glad to hear it for you, and especially for the word proud to be used. I mean, that you should be, I feel like. And we had talked about how the last 100,000 of the capital campaign fund was like, where am I going to get this last $100,000 from? And it was just interesting to kind of track it alongside with you for every time you stepped in for a month. And so I'm just really happy to see that things went as well as they did in 2025. And now in 2026, you guys still have new plans and new things. Obviously, you mentioned some of that new work that'll be going in to the facility, but we also have some other things going on as well. Just a general question, what can we expect from the Y in 2026? Maybe what are some of your goals that you have for this upcoming year?
I think one of our goals is to try to offer more programs and services. I know we've kind of been talking as we meet weekly and as a staff, as an administrative staff team, to try to continually try to offer more programs, youth programs, adult programs, family programs. So, teen center and grade school, just the last few years weren't those big programs that they used to always be. So we talked about ways in which we could try to serve kids differently. Get a parents' night out event going once to twice a month. And then, try to serve a larger number of kids and then kind of split kids up. So if we could do something from, say, like 3rd through 8th grade or 3rd through 7th grade, something like that, like 3rd, 4th, 5th grade could go swim for an hour and a half. And then the other group could be out in the gym and we could be doing stuff there. We could have a DJ. We could do some other things, maybe video gaming, something like that. And then kind of there's an option for them to rotate if they so choose. But I think, coming up with more tournaments in our new activity center is a big one. Mike, Eisenbarth and Tanner and Jill have all kind of put a concerted effort to try to get more tournaments going. So this month on the 17th and 18th, we're going to host a tournament for fourth grade kids. I think we'll have 5 to 6 teams. It's a competitive tournament. So we ask that communities try to put together a competitive team. We get IHSA patched refs. It's pretty cool. And we utilize the gym, for the activity center for those things. And we hosted one last year in October. We'll host Horror on the Hardwood again in October. But we want to try to do more things like that. Our goal is to try to offer a couple pickleball tournaments for adults. And we'll partner again with the high school and the CEO program. Last year they came in and they hosted a pickleball tournament. Yeah. So it's things like that. We want to try to host a volleyball tournament for kids, and we want to try to maybe offer a volleyball program for adults as well. So there's a lot of other things out there that we can do that we're going to try to expand our efforts to do. We're really lucky right now. We had a key leader, Bruce Dawson, was helping raise some funds. We're getting a batting machine. Oh. So we have these 2 nets upstairs for teams to come in and practice indoors. And you got an L screen, you got a flat screen, you got all this other stuff, but we were lacking a batting machine. So with Bruce's help and many community folks, who we're going to get a new batting machine. So hopefully that we'll see more activity there as well. So, and it's going to be for baseball and softball. Hopefully we're trying to collaborate and partner maybe with a coach out there who might be willing to do some camps or clinics. And we just kind of somehow we negotiate use of this area for your use of time. Yeah. So, we're always trying to think outside the box, I guess. And I think that's a big thing that I say great job to all the Y staff, because I think everyone's pretty good about that.
Yeah, I think for you guys too, like you mentioned the pickleball tournaments in there, some of those things are they're almost home runs given to you, but taking it and going an extra notch with it too. Adult volleyball tournaments, that sounds like a whole heck of a lot of fun. But when you consider how many members and how many households are now, it's like we want to keep building. And here in January, right, you talked about how many folks are already. It's new year, new me, and all these goals that come about. So obviously we know there's going to be a little bit of a raise there. But I think with this new activity center, with all the additional space and the new facility in its own right, I think you're going to be able to have a lot more ability for these tournaments and for these programs and services. So I look forward to hearing more about those in the coming months. Well, Bruce, let's take ourselves a break. We're joined by Bruce Blanchard, Christian County YMCA's Executive Director in Bruce Blanchard, joining us here on the WTIM Morning Show. We'll be back with him in just one moment.
Your information station, WTIM.
Let's check the markets now on the RFD Radio Network. I'm Jim Taylor. Corn, beans in Chicago, wheat higher across the board. March corn up 5 1/4, 442 3/4. May corn up a nickel, 450 1/2, and December new crop 461 1/2, up 3. January beans up 10 1/4, 1039 3/4. March beans up 11 3/4, 1057 1/2, and November new crop up 8, 1070 3/4. March Chicago wheat 508 up a penny and a half. March KC wheat 518 1/2, up 3 1/2. January bean meal 294.40, up 3.40. January bean oil unchanged 48.87. Livestock trade January feeders up 222, 358.32. February live cattle 236.27, up 27 cents. February lean hogs 85.60, up $1.50. Energy market February crude oil up 41 cents, 57.73. RFD Radio Network.
When it comes to connecting with America's farmers and ranchers, nothing beats the authentic voice of Ag Radio. Farm broadcasters have been the voice of rural America since 1944, building trusted relationships with agricultural producers across generations. Today, the network of over 140 Ag radio stations reaches farmers and ranchers during their most productive hours when they're actively working their operations and making business decisions. What makes Ag Radio uniquely effective? Farmers listen to farm broadcasters for information that directly impacts their livelihood. When your message is delivered alongside alongside crucial weather updates, market reports, and agricultural news, it receives the same attention and credibility. Farm Radio Connects offers agricultural advertisers targeted access to this engaged audience through professionals who understand both broadcasting and agriculture. According to the National Association of Farm Broadcasting, 78% of farmers consider information from farm broadcasters highly trustworthy. When you need to reach rural America effectively, choose the voices they already trust. Visit IllinoisFarmRadio.com and discover how Ag Radio can elevate your agricultural marketing strategy.
Hi, I'm Mark Sanders, and I'm your longtime host, interviewing Shelbyville and Shelby County community and business leaders every week. For some 10 years, WTIM, your information station, has originated its Friday morning show live from our downtown Shelbyville studios. Tune in on AM or FM or online every Friday from 8:40 to 10, brought to you by these great sponsors.
Family Drug, the Villas of Hollybrook, Shelbyville Manor, and Corner Copy sponsor the WTIM Shelbyville Morning Show.
Carl Krumsick here from Krumsick Monument Company in Taylorville, Illinois. Find out the many services we provide by clicking our icon on the obituaries page of TaylorvilleDailyNews.com.
This is Blaine Cornwell with Prairie State Insurance. To learn more about our products and services, click our icon on TaylorvilleDailyNews.com.
WTIM.
You're listening to WTIM, your information station, and our morning show. It's brought to you by People's Bank and Trust, where they put people first, and Landmark of Taylorville. I'm back around and joined by Bruce Blanchard, Christian County YMCA Executive Director. We talked the year in review in 2025 and what to expect here in 2026, and the fact that they'll have a fourth grade basketball tournament coming up here in January, I believe the 17th and 18th. Is what was mentioned to me, but there's more in January. You would like to tell us about, Bruce? What is that?
I tell you what, we're very fortunate because we partner with many organizations or businesses that we try to assist them, or they assist us, or it's just a perfect marriage. And Memorial Hospital, Taylorville Memorial Hospital, had approached us a few years ago and said, "Hey, would you guys be interested in opening your doors for people to walk if we opened up a challenge?" And we're like, most definitely. So Jay Bollinger, who's our board president this year, he approached us, a few months ago and said, "Hey, would you guys like to offer this walking program again?" And I'm like, yeah, we're all about it. So the great thing for us is that our doors are open for anybody who wants to come in and walk and participate in the Frosty Footsteps Challenge. And it's awesome because I signed up last time. I got a t-shirt. I was proud of that. It's just walking, right? Everyone walks. So just try to do a little bit more and make a concerted effort, and our doors are open to anybody, whether they're a member or non-member. They don't pay. They come in, they get to walk inside the gym. They can walk inside the wellness center, and it's perfect relationship. I mean, we're two like-minded, as you mentioned, two like-minded organizations. We're there for health and wellness, and wellness is really a big thing, right? Just getting your mind right and feeling better about yourself, and exercise is a big part of that.
It sure is, and a more important part than some people might realize. But that is a look at the Frosty Footsteps Challenge with TMH. You can go to the Christian County YMCA even without a membership for the month of January and use that walking track and more. One other thing I want to make sure we have time for here today with just about a minute to go, Bruce, organizational assessment. You've got one in February.
Yeah, we're working with the State of Illinois YMCA Alliance, their CEO, and working with that organization, and we'll try to get a couple other area executives, say from Springfield, Decatur, Clinton. These CEOs will come in with the CEO for the State of Illinois Alliance. They'll help kind of we haven't had an organizational assessment since 1992, and I think it's much needed because they come in, they ask questions of stakeholders, community stakeholders, key leaders, board members, Y members, class participants, and a large group of people, and they'll do all kinds of different interviews, and they want to know, what's the state of the Y? How is the Y doing? How can the Y better serve our community? Do you feel the Y has everything that you need? And they'll ask many questions. And I will say this: sometimes it's things that you don't want to hear or see because geez, we gotta work on that. But I know by going through it previously and being on a group that conducted one years ago, it is very important to our organization. We want to know how we're doing, and hopefully we'll get a lot of folks involved.
Well, Bruce, sometimes you got to step back from the slap in the face and go, all right, maybe I deserved it. So, Bruce, I'm excited for you to have that happen, and we'll see you probably before that time comes anyway. So, Bruce, thank you for joining us here today.
Appreciate it. Thanks, Grayson.
Absolutely. Christian County YMCA Executive Director Bruce Blanchard here on the WTIM Morning Show.